retcons suck. The Kais were from a species called Sinjin in the manga originally, and Shin's name was also Shin. And Shin and his whole race were born gods. The Supreme Kais were born from the gold fruit, and the regular Kais were born from the normal fruits. Now, Kais aren't called Shinjin no more. Their race is now called Glin. They renamed them. And Shin's name is now Nahare, not Shin. Also, he's not born a god anymore, he's just a random demon. Daima reads like fanfiction of someone who hates Dragon Ball and wanted to change everything about it. It's like how Christians hate other religions, so they rebrand Shiva, Ra, Odin, Zeus, etc. as demons rather than gods. It really seems like what they did to Shin here. Sorry, Nahare, I forgot they changed everything about him. But Nahare, not Shin, now has more in common with characters like Beelzebub or Satan rather than Zeus, given Daima's retcons place him as not much different to Boo or Deborah in that he's a demon. Daima took away any amount of godliness from the Kais. It comes across as completely stupid and super when Zamasu's ranting and raving about how the gods are superior to mortals. When Zamasu ain't even a deity, he's simply just a random demon. Dude, don't Zamasu know that he ain't a god of any kind? Well, he should know, but Super didn't take into account that Daima was gonna make the Kais the same thing as Deborah or Boo. The whole thing gets even stupider with Namekians, where they are now demons as well, despite there being a demon clan of Namekians. So there's a demon clan of a race of all demons. That's completely fucking stupid. It made much more sense when the dragon, demon, and warrior clans were just different casts of the same overall Namekian race. Now that they are all just demons, it makes no sense. It made much more sense when they were all aliens. Demon King Piccolo was also very clearly Piccolo Jr.'s dad, and not the same exact person. Called Mad Jr. in his debut, Piccolo Jr. Even though Daima retcons it so that he's supposed to be the same person. And in his first scene, Piccolo Jr. says, "I'll avenge my father." King Piccolo states, "My son will avenge me upon his death." But Daima retcons it so that his father is Katas. Yes, Katas was the father of the Nameless Namekian, but Piccolo Jr. is not the Nameless Namekian. Everything about this show is a retcon. Even Boo's origin, which was originally that Bibbidi created him, is now something Maba did. A new character to Daima. Everybody in Daima is now a demon because they have spiky ears or something. It's so stupid, but hey, it's canon, not unlike GT. The Demon Realm Dragon is the first dragon in the Daima version, whereas in DBS it stated the first Shenron is in fact the Super Shenron. Contradictions are many and bad writing is the norm. Super Saiyan 4 is in this despite BOG stating SSJ3 was Goku's strongest form by the time of the Battle of Gods. Daima employs lazy reuse of certain ideas. You like Kais, they are here. You like Cybermen, they are here. And they are fused with Majin Buu. And if you like Kid Buu and Fat Buu, well, they are in the forms of them. While it may be bad rewrote and have shitty fan service, at least it's canon, that being the real reason and the only reason people like it. The show could have everything changed about it down to the exact detail, and people would still like it, because the reason why people like it ain't qualitative. It isn't a reason based on quality, it's a reason based on assumed merit. It's a reason based on it being seen as canon. Every single reason why Daima is liked would still exist, even if it was entirely rewrote, because it's seen and liked for being called canon, not because it's a good story. Canon stories just suck. They are well liked because they are canon, not because they are good stories. Super and Daima are infinitely worse than GT. Worse writing, worse designs, worse everything. Canon products are badly wrote slop that fans eat up for purity test reasons, not because of quality. Just look at the amount of problems I've listed with Daima alone. Super has the same fan service slop, same bad writing, the same color swap designs that Daima has. But hey, at least the slop is canon and the quality products are non-canon. That's the thing, like, the non-canon products that people hate align much more with the established lore and narrative of DBZ. Say what you must about Heroes and Xenoverse, their take on the demon realm is much more aligned with DBZ than Daima ever was. People say, well, Daima expands on it. No, Daima entirely rewrites every aspect of it. They don't actually align with anything. Like, if you try to make a compare and contrast between whatever DBZ sets up and whatever Daima sets up, it doesn't align. Like, Deborah doesn't even recognize Supreme Kai when he should be like, oh, that's a Glend. He should know what that is. But he doesn't. Because DBZ did not intend for Deborah and Shin to be of the same demon realm, demon category. They weren't intended to be analogous in any way. Shin was intended to be a god, born a god from a tree, and Deborah was intended to be a demon with a long line of heritage from a monarchy of demons. Daima just ignores the monarchy, and they just set up some random henchman dude, Goma, as the new demon king. It's actually kind of weird, because Daima reestablishes the fact that there is a monarchy. Deborah got his king title from his father, and his father, Abura, got the king title from their, like, great-great-great-great-grandpa, the good Supreme Demon King. So it's like, they do establish the monarchy, but they immediately then tear it down. It's like, does Deborah not have any cousins? Does Deborah not have any kids? Any uncles, aunts, grandparents, etc.? Like, it's so unrealistic that the only person to fulfill the position is this Jiren wannabe knockoff Goma character. Every reason for the plot exists in a metatextual sense. It doesn't have any in-universal logicality. The fucking Demon Realm Dragon, which is supposed to be the original, even though they ignored that the DBS Dragon, the Eternal Super Dragon, was supposed to be the original, they ignored that. But despite that, they recolored the Purunga, the Namekian Dragon, and just made it red. That's what I meant by recolors. It is literally just a red version of Purunga. There is no actual changes. It's so fucking lazy. But these people have no creativity. They recolor Frieza's final form in Super to be black or to be golden, and then call it a day. You look at Frieza's forms in the original Namek Saga, and it's night and fucking day. They had so much more effort put into the fucking designs back then, and they worked for the designs. They put effort into designing these characters. But it's just easier when you just recolor things, because you don't have to put as much effort in. And for when they sell toys, they could just reuse the same model, verbatim. They don't have to change anything. They can just reuse the same model and recolor it. So it makes sense from a production perspective too. So it's just entirely metatextual. So they could save money on resources when they're making toys. They could just use the same mold over and over and over again, because there's no actual functioning differences between the different designs.